Hey Instagram, Marin here from indiebirth. Just hanging out at my office before a appointment, and I thought I would share some fetoscope stuff. So we have our baby model today, and also a brand new fetoscope in the box, thanks to Margot, who ordered a bunch of stuff and had it sent right here for our upcoming skills workshop. So I think having a fetoscope is one of the coolest tools that a midwife or a mother can have for herself in her own pregnancy. And this is one of the, 22-inch fetoscopes. So it's got a longer tubing. So if you're pregnant, this is the one to get so you can hear your own baby in your own uterus. I love these things, and they're pretty inexpensive. I'd say between 20 and 30 bucks. So super awesome and fun to have a bunch laying around for people to borrow and or get your own if you're pregnant. I love to loan them out if I have a bunch. So this is actually kind of in two pieces at the moment. Let's see if I can put it together while doing this live. We'll get a view of the baby. I'll put it down a sec. So yeah, we've got the bell and then the tubing that goes all the way up to the top. So again, this is kind of a longer one. I like the short ones when I'm listening on other people's bellies, but this is a long one. And I just wanted to take a couple extra minutes and show you this wonderful baby here and where you'll be able to hear best. Of course, when a fetus is in utero and tiny, we don't necessarily know what parts are what, so we can't really distinguish butt from head at, let's say, 16 weeks necessarily. We're just kind of listening all over, and I don't have enough hands today to show you where in the uterus to listen at different gestations, but it certainly does matter. As the baby grows and you can palpate from the outside what a head is, what a butt is, what you're really going for as far as looking for where to listen. And I've put a sticker on this baby's back. So this is the baby's left side, and the sticker is on the back to reflect where the point of maximum intensity is, or the PMI. And if when you're listening on a mom's belly, however the baby is positioned, you are going to hear the fetal heart tones best with a fetoscope right where this black sticker is. So, of course, the baby is going to be curled up and in who knows what position. Could be head down, could be head up, all kinds of variations on that I'm not going to go into today. But again, over the left shoulder blade will be where you hear heart tones the best. So if you're a student midwife, or maybe you're a midwife that's just getting used to using a fetoscope, that certainly, isn't a thing that all midwives were trained in or feel like they're good at. And often they'll use Dopplers or whatever. But a fetoscope is really special because you are only going to hear the fetal heart well right over that left shoulder blade. And granted, as you get more practice, you will hear it other places as well, just because your ears will be better at listening. So you'll hear it other places, maybe near that, depending on how the baby's positioned. And if your ears are really fine-tuned and you've gotten very skilled with a fetoscope, you may even hear umbilical cord with the fetoscope, which means that it can almost be trickier at times to tell position if you're good at listening, because you can hear with this thing, even though the noise is very slight, the sound of the fetal heart is almost a feeling in many cases. You'll get so good at it that it won't necessarily be only over that left shoulder blade. I'll show you one more time that you're listening. So my advice to student midwives, especially, or anybody learning to listen with a fetoscope, even a mom listening to her own baby, is to just practice listening around. So if you're a student midwife, take your time listening. Of course, if it's okay with the mom that you're listening on. And if it's your own belly, then you probably have all the time in the world. And just practice listening around. Listen to the maternal sounds, like her pulse. You'll hear her own digestive sounds. And then just kind of experiment and listen for what could be a fetal heart rate. So anywhere from like 110 beats a minute all the way up to 160 even. And once you identify it, that's great. Then you'll just want to listen around in that area even further. Listen a little to the left, listen a little to the right, a little up, a little down, and just notice how the sound changes. And then you can become really great at identifying that point of maximum intensity. And that is useful for when you're sort of confused about fetal position. It's useful in labor as you're kind of listening and looking and watching for signs of internal rotation and descent. It can be another tool that we have to know exactly where that baby's heartbeat is. So just one more minute here. I guess the biggest difference between listening with a fetoscope and a Doppler, maybe it's not obvious to you if you're new at all this, but using a Doppler certainly does identify a heartbeat faster in many cases, and sometimes, that's a concern and we want that. But you're going to hear a fetal heart rate with a Doppler in lots of other places. So I always joke that, you could put a Doppler, it's almost like you feel like you could put it down on the mom's foot, and you would somehow get a fetal heart rate down there, just because everything's echoing off of everything. You have cord to consider that also has the same pulse as the baby. So in other words, if you're in a pinch and you want to hear a fetal heart rate faster, or you just have somebody that's letting you kind of experiment on them, you can play around with that too, because it's going to sound different in different parts of the uterus, and depending on what you're actually listening to. You might be listening to the baby, but you might also be just sort of hearing an echo of the baby or the umbilical cord. So that's my really short little teaching spiel today. Hope you enjoyed that. We do have a skills workshop right here in this very room, January 10th through 12th, 2020, here in Sedona, Arizona. And we are pretty much full for that. We have our students that are coming, many of them are, and a couple of people that aren't students. So if you're interested in learning more, just send us a message here on Instagram. And remember, enrollment or application period for the indiebirth midwifery school is getting close to being over, actually. December 10th will be the last day that we accept early applications. So we may end up opening it again later in the winter, depending on the kind of applications we've gotten. But we encourage you, of course, to enroll or apply. I keep using the wrong words. Apply sooner if you're really interested in being one of our students that start in July. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.